Hello everyone, this is Andy from 1HMPS Retro. I'm back again with another game review. Now today's game review, I'll be playing a game called Black Belt on the Sega Master System. Now this is a game that I used to play non-stop when I first got it. It's not necessarily a great game and I don't think it's aged that well, but back at the time I used to really enjoy it. Now today's video, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, I'm going to just do the first level and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about this game. Alright, so Black Belt, basically, you are that guy there, and what you have to do in the typical sort of manner of these sort of games is you walk from left to right and you beat the crap out of anything that moves. Now, the graphics are nice and simple, pretty basic actually, and if you look at the fact that the characters explode there when you hit them, explode into loads of little pieces, and this is set in Japan somewhere. And halfway through the level you always end up fighting these little mini bosses, which I used to find kind of interesting. Some of them can be a bit annoying and, you know, take a few hits to actually kill. There we go. Now you can get those foods up there. That basically gives you more energy and powers you up a little bit. Now guys, the things I want you to pay attention to, I'm not going to say why, but I want you guys to pay attention to this particular, you know, the sprite, the enemy sprites, the background and the music, and even things as the characters exploding. Alright, so here we go, there's another sort of boss battle. It kind of reminds me of Year Kung Fu with these little battles there, obviously with not as many moves. But there are reasons why I liked this particular game at the time was because not only do you just go from left to right, and you don't only just get these little tiny sort of sprites, by the time you reach the end of the level you do fight like a boss basically. And the graphics look pretty impressive actually because they're pretty huge actually. They're sort of like the size of our Street Fighter sort of like sprites. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. So let me just beat this guy here. This guy kind of reminds me of Pole from Year Kung Fu. It does take a little bit of a beating. Like I said, all the guys explode. To energize, you just have to jump up and get the food. And by doing that you have to push down and then push up. And that's how you do your really high jumps. You got two punch buttons, sorry, you got a punch button and a kick button, and that's how you dispose of the enemies on the Sega Master System. The thing is, with most of these games, normally it's like a jump button and a kick, or a punch, but this has got like a kick and a punch, and you push up, you know, to jump. An interesting baddie there with some claws. Get that sort of like, sort of food, whatever it was, don't know what you call it. It looks like sushi. Yeah, I really used to like this game, I used to enjoy it. But like I said, I don't think this game has aged very well. It's very simple. Plays very similar to Vigilante and Kung Fu Master. Right, let me fight this tubby fella. He was pretty easy. The music's pretty nice. I wouldn't say it's memorable. Now, this is what we go. So, I'm the character called Riki, and I've got to fight against this guy called Ryu. I always used to think that was a woman there, the one in pink that I was fighting against. But I mean, they're nicely animated actually, if you look at them, considering when this game came out, which was around 1986, 1987. Right. Looks like we're pretty much even there. Am I going to win? Am I not going to win? What do you guys reckon? I'm probably going to get my ass whooped. All in all, you know, if you have got the ROM, check it out. Now, the reason why I've decided to do this video is because this game also came out before, and it was called Hokuto no Ken, which is basically based on the Fist of the North Star. Now, there was a sequel to this game that came out on the Sega Mega Drive, which was called Last Battle, which was really poor actually. It's not as good as the Sega Master System version because it suits the Master System version more for the fact that because of the machine's limitations, whereas you were expecting slightly more from the Sega Mega Drive version. Right, so basically, you're that guy there, dressed completely different. This game isn't set in Japan now. It's set in the sort of Fists of the North Star sort of world, where it's all, I don't know, apocalyptic, if that's actually a word. The music's different. And I discovered this game just a few years ago while just going through some of my Sega Master System ROMs, and I found it really interesting because I was, you know, a huge fan of Black Belt, so it was interesting to actually play this game. You know, it's basically the same game with a different story, different graphics, Now there are a few differences as well. Okay, firstly, you know, they've got all the characters on sort of Fist of the North Star, so it looks different. Completely different look of the sort of game. It gives it a different sort of feel, where the other one was sort of based in, you know, back in Japan, back in the, you know, the ancient times. This is sort of set like more modern-y, sort of futuristic sort of thing. And the music's completely different as well. I'm not sure whether this music is as good as the other one, as Black Belt. The other thing that you'll find in this game here as well, you don't actually find any food sort of like floating in the air, which I do think is a bit of a shame though, because you do need, you know, some energy like later on during the game. But again, all the same bosses are there. Now I think, if I'm right, I played these like not long ago, so I should know this. But I think the Sega Master System version's got like a few extra levels. Now there will be a few more videos I'll be doing on the Sega Master System version, where basically, you know, I'm playing the same game, but they've got differences from where they were released. Oh, there's that fat guy. Seems a little bit tough this time. There he goes, exploded. Like I said, guys, it's not the greatest of games, but it was the game that I used to play. Well, not this version, but Black Belt I used to play. And there we go, there's the boss again. Looking somewhat different in a futuristic setting, whereas the other one was in an ancient temple. Right, so yeah, I mean, check out Last Battle if you're a fan of the Fist of the North Star game. Don't expect a lot, it's not a great game. I wouldn't say it's much better than this. It was a slight disappointment because it was one of the earlier Mega Drive games, and you know, you were expecting more of a 16-bit at the time. I'm the Rule Locomaniac. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.